Hello and good morning from here. Welcome to day 8 of the series, Awakening to Purpose. Today we are going to look at the role of environment in discovery and living of purpose. We've talked about purpose. We said purpose is the reason why you exist. Purpose is the biggest motivation. The message you want to communicate to the world through your career, through your business. And vision is the big picture of the direction you want to take your life. It is not enough to have a purpose or a vision. You also need to plant yourself in an environment that will facilitate and support that purpose. A seed has the potential to become a forest, but if you plant that seed in a soil that is not conducive for its growth, the potential in that seed is not going to manifest. So if you have a seed, right, the seed we all know has the potential to become a forest or a tree, right? But if you plant that seed in a soil that is not conducive for its growth, the potential in that seed is not going to manifest. Right? So that is why environment is key. You might have potential, you might have a lot of dreams, a lot of talents, but if you are not in an environment where that purpose, where that potential is nurtured, is encouraged, it is not going to manifest. You know, this is why there are areas where you raise children. There are chances that they are going to become a kind of adults. If you raise a child in an environment where they see adults, and the kind of adults they see in that environment are drug dealers, are addicts, right? Smokers, drunkards, people who are gambling everywhere. There are chances that when they grow up, they will see that. They see that is the future they see. So environment is powerful. Environment here is not just the physical space. Environment here talks about people. It talks about messages. It talks about the energies and space we surround ourselves. Purpose does not grow in a vacuum. Purpose is nurtured or suffocated in environments. Like I said, if you have a seed and that seed is the most viable seed in the whole world, but you plant it in an environment that is not conducive for its growth, the potential in that seed is not going to emerge. So you have a vision, right? You have dreams. You want to make an impact. You want to transform the nation. You want to be a blessing to people. But you plant yourself in an environment that you are not challenged. That potential is not going to manifest. When I was, teaching right after my secondary school, I was invited in one of the PTA meetings, and I was asked to give a talk, a kind of a message that has to do with parenting and children. One of the things I thought, right, was that environment is key. The environment children finds in their home, that is their home, plays a big role in their academic performance. So if you are telling children to study hard, to go and read their books, to study hard so that they will become successful, and they don't see you as a parent who is also studying, they have never seen you study, they have never seen you carry a book, read. All they see you is either watch television or you do other things, but they don't see you reading, and you always telling them to study. They are not going to be as studious as they are So imagine an environment where you tell them to study and they often see you study. You have a library at your home. You have a bookshelf, you study. So that environment becomes a place where it is easy for you to tell them something and action is taken. Environment does three things. That's why it's powerful. Number one, environment dictates our predominant thoughts, our predominant feelings, and the actions we take. So these are the three things environment does. It determines our thoughts, our feelings or emotions, and the actions we take. So that if the actions you are taking is not inconsistent, is not in alignment with the kind of person, with the version of yourself you see in your vision, in your dream, if that action is not consistent with that goal, what you need to do is you have to audit your environment. You have to check your environment. Is it empowering you or is it limiting you? So we are going to look at these subjects in three headings. We are going to look at, number one, environment as a mirror. Environment as a mirror, right? Your environments reflect what is normal, what is accepted, what is required, what is rewarded. If you are in an environment where self-expression, creativity, authenticity, taking risk is not expected, is not rewarded, in fact, where somehow it is punished, over time you are going to suppress self-expression. You are going to suppress authenticity, and you are going to be a person who just wants to comply, who just wants to follow the rule. Right? So if you're a person that value authenticity, freedom, expression, self-expression, you need to be in an environment where that is nurtured. However, if you are in an environment and that environment is not where you can easily pull yourself, right? You need to be in that environment. Maybe it might be a workplace, right? But it doesn't nurture the kind of person you want to become. Then what you need to do is you need to create another environment, maybe in your private space, where creativity, where authenticity is nurtured. That is what you are supposed to do. Because over time, if you stay in an environment where you are somehow tamed, where your spirit is tamed and you are domesticated, over time you are going to be a domesticated human. And you don't want that. If you want to lead if you want to lead a movement, if you want to make an impact, because you want to become a leader, one of the things I mentioned is that vision makes you a leader. If you have a vision and you pursue that vision, that is you are taking a step of leadership, because vision makes the leader, not the position. A leader is a person who knows the way and you go the way. So if you find yourself in an environment where you are suppressed, where your uniqueness is suppressed, then you need to be aware that that environment is limiting you. And you need to find a way to not allow that to influence you on the inside. Because you want to retain your authenticity, your self-expression, your creativity. You know, and when we are children, we are creative, right? We build things with cartons, with sand. We draw things because our nature is to be creative, is to express ourselves. But when we begin to grow, when we begin to go to school, society begins to tell us what to do. They want us to obey, to be compliant. That is why I will always say this: obedience is not a virtue. Right? It's not a virtue. Somebody said that we don't grow out of creativity. We don't grow out of creativity. We grow into creativity. As kids, we were creative, but somehow society programs us and brainwash us to just want to survive. Now we're going to look at, secondly, we're going to look at people as environments. People as environments. Jim Rohn said that you are the average of 5 persons in your life. The 5 persons you spend most of your time with, you are the average. So the quality of your thoughts is the average of the 5 persons you spend most of your time with. So you look at your thought, you look at the quality of your actions, your feelings, the results you are getting in life. You need to look at the 5 persons you spend most of your time with. They are the people that will determine the quality of your thoughts and who you are most likely to become in the next 5 years. So if you hang around with average people, you're going to be average. If you hang around always with rich people, people who think about business investments, you are most likely to be going to become rich. Somebody said the reason why we are poor is because we have poor friends, right? And it's true. You know, you cannot want to become rich and all of your friends are people who play sporty belts. Right? They're always sending you game to book. You know, always booking games. You cannot be serious about financial prosperity. And the people you spend most of your time with are people who play, who book games, who play games. People who are always looking for a Ponzi scheme, a get-rich-quick scheme, pyramid scheme. But if you surround yourself with creators, with business people, with people who talk about how to, how to make investment, realtors, you begin to think how they think. You begin to think in terms of how do I create a system that will make me so amount of money in the next 5 years. You begin to think in long terms. So you are not looking for a quick way to get rich, to get money. You begin to think in terms of system. You are no longer thinking in terms of, how do I book a game and be lucky and win 5 million from 1,000. Secondly, let us look at digital environments. Our digital space. Most of us, we are online, right? So we have Twitter account, we have Facebook, we have Instagram. The kind of content you consume online, you need to ask yourself, are they the kind of content that is nurturing your purpose, your vision, your dream? The kind of accounts you follow, are they posting things that challenges you? When you open your Facebook, do you see things that challenges you? Now, I'm not saying you don't see things that make you laugh, right? You don't see memes that make you... Those are there. They have their purpose. But you have people who post things that challenge you. So that when you go online, you are not just going there to while away time. You're always going there because somebody is going to post something that will challenge you. Something that will inspire you. Something that will encourage you. So you need to curate your feed with care. Fill it with voices that awaken you, stories that inspire you, content that align with your future. Purpose grow best in purpose-aligned environments. Purpose grow best in purpose-aligned environments. If you begin the journey of purpose and you begin you start to live a purpose-driven life, it means that you must be careful and selective of your environment. And that also means your relationship. So when somebody is coming into your life, you need to think of that person as an environment. They are carrying an environment. And you need to ask yourself, the environment this person is bringing, is this an environment that is going to nurture my purpose? Is it going to help me to achieve my vision, or is it going to suffocate it? You thrive when you surround yourself by mentors and guides, right? You surround best when you surround yourself by mentors and guides and role models. If you find out that if the people you see as mentors and role models are not people who are close by, which is most likely going to be the result, what you need to do is to connect with them online, right? Connect with them. How do you do that? Buy their books, go to their seminars, go to their website and learn, download their contents and read and study and listen to. This is how you connect with them. This is what I do. Somebody like John C. Maxwell, Miles Moron, Robert Kiyosaki, Seth Godin, these people, I try to buy their books and read 1 or 2 every month. Listen to their, to their video content, to their podcast, because I want them to nurture the passion in my heart, to keep me focused on the mission and the purpose and the vision. We are going to look at what are the signs, what are the things that will show that you are in an environment that is limiting your purpose, right? What are the signs that you are in an environment that is limiting you? Number 1 is that you constantly doubt yourself, right? Self-doubt. If you surround yourself with people who cause you somehow to doubt yourself, you are in the wrong environment. You are in the wrong cycle. You are in the wrong company. 2, you feel the need to shrink or tone down your vision. If you surround yourself with people who you feel like you need to lower your vision, you need to come down at their level, that is the wrong company, right? I said something that you don't want to lower your standard for a relationship. If a relationship cannot meet you at your level, they are not the right partner for you, especially for women, right? Because for women, we live in a world that doesn't want you to be ambitious, right? It wants you to be somehow passive and submissive so that you will see somebody who is going to marry you. But you don't want to do that. If you have a mission and a vision in your heart, you need to pursue it unapologetically and keep it there and have your boundaries and have your standard, so that if somebody is coming, that is going to be a person who is going to bring an environment that is going to supportive, that is going to be supportive. And if that is not going to be the case, you don't accept that kind of relationship, because you need a relationship that will cause your vision to expand, not the one that wants you to shrink. Any environment where you feel emotionally and mentally drained after spending time with certain people, that is the wrong environment. You need to get rid of it. So what can you do, right? So when you realize that you are in a limiting environment, or that your environment is not really supportive of your vision, your purpose, what do you do? Number 1, audit your environment. Ask yourself, who do I spend most of my time with? Write them down. What kind of media do I consume every single day? Do my space support creativity, reflection, and alignment? Who do you spend time with every day? Write them down and ask yourself, what are the impact? What values do these people impact in my life, right? What kind of content do I consume every single day, and how do they affect me? What are the kind of thoughts are they impacting me with? How do they make me feel? What actions do I take because of those feelings and emotions? Now you think about your personal space. Your personal space, does it support creativity, reflection, and alignment? One of the things I try to tell people is that if you have a vision in your own personal space, write the vision. Right? It says, write the vision and make it clear so that whoever that readeth it will be able to run with it. So write your vision in your personal space. Write it somewhere where you see it. If you have a goal, a long-term goal, something you want to achieve in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, write it somewhere so that you are always reminded. So it helps you to be focused. Secondly, after auditing your environment, create a micro environment. Find online communities that resonate with your values. Read books. Read books and listen to voices that, align with your soul. Read books, right? So, they said readers are leaders. That is true. But the reason why you might think that is not true is because when you think about reading, you think about reading to pass exam. Reading here is personal, is our personal development. Is that you are reading because you want to do something. So you are reading a book about business, not because you are studying business administration and you have a test to write. It's because you are studying because you are a business person, or you want to be a business person or an entrepreneur. You want to study to know the system, to know how things work, not because you want to pass exam. So readers are leaders. If you want to become a leader, a person that has a vision, which means you are already a leader, you need to read. You cannot give what you don't have. If you want to have more, you need to learn more. You need to learn from people, and you do that by reading their books. Seek out purpose-driven spaces, right? Attend seminars, go for workshop if that's available for you. Get mentorship or coaching, right? Mentorship is key. Like, one of the things I'm seeking is mentors. Because I know they are going to play a big role in my life, and coaches. If you cannot get them, connect with them online. You can't become who you are meant to be in an environment that doesn't believe in that version of yourself. You cannot become the person you are meant to be in an environment that does not believe in that version. In an environment that is not conducive. A seed cannot become a tree if that seed is planted in a soil that is not conducive for its growth. So audit your environment and check if they are supporting the version of yourself you see in your vision. If they are not, then begin to make the necessary changes. Right? So I will stop here, and I want to believe I have impacted you. I want to believe I've said something that will make a difference in your life. And I want you to put your questions in the comment section. There are things I've said that are not clear. There are things, I should have said, and I didn't say it, right? So I want you to ask me questions, and I'm going to respond to them. Thank you for listening. I hope you be okay.